Hi, welcome to the Destin Business Forum, brought to you by the Destin Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Amy Perry, and my guest today is Mr. Byron Cotton of Cotton Land Title.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
Okay, so for those who don't know, tell me what Byron Land Title is. Is that different from Cotton Land Title?
Yeah, it can be the same.
Tell me what Cotton Land Title is.
Cotton Land Title is a title agent and escrow company. We do real estate closings and sell title insurance and take them from start to finish.
Okay, so I know that you are a lawyer. You do other things.
I do.
And then you decided to open this practice. Why would somebody come to you as opposed to just a regular title company?
Well, what we do is we hope for two things. As you're aware, in our industry, generally, service is what sells. They can go to any title agent or any title company and do a closing. You build your relationships on trust that the real estate agents and the buyers and the sellers and the lenders know that you're proficient at what you do and that you'll complete it. And then they can trust you with their money and their documents. And then two, obviously, our company specifically is attorney owned by me, and which coincides some with my real estate practice or probate practice, so that when these issues come up, I'm able to address them directly rather than them having to go somewhere else to fix their problem.
Kind of all inclusive.
Try to be, absolutely.
Do you find that real estate agents that you deal with, because you see them again and again and again, do you find that they like dealing with lawyers?
I think they like dealing with people who are proficient. Now, sometimes lawyers can scare people, but for the most part, inside my title company, I take more of a management and review perspective that I have closing agents and closers and processors that really deal with the day-to-day business of dealing with them. If they're talking to me, normally there's one of two reasons. It's a PR reason, or I'm fixing a problem that's come up in their real estate closing due to title. Right,
that's the way I like to handle it too. My closing agent knows so much more about the hows, the whys, hows, how to get everything done.
Absolutely.
She just comes to me if there really is a legal problem, or she just wants to hear me say, yes, that's right. You know better than I do.
Absolutely.
And I find that the customer, the ultimate customer, because that's who we're all trying to please, the ultimate customer likes knowing that an attorney, if you're not hands-on, seeing them all the time, you're back there and you're checking everything.
That's it. They like to know you're there, kind of in case of emergency, break glass, the attorney's behind the glass. I'll fix it if there's a problem, but otherwise I stay out of the way.
Good way to put it. And you can explain if they have any questions. I was somewhere the other day and someone was doing a closing, wasn't my closing, and they had questions about a form, and they asked me, and I said, well, this isn't my form, but this is how I interpret it. And I think the customer likes that. They like to know, okay, you're a lawyer. How do you read this?
They do very much, particularly, and a lot of times, as you know, title companies aren't to interpret documents. They're supposed to sit down, unless they have a lawyer, and then say, here's your documents, sign them. Well, obviously, we have the ability. I go in and I do a lot of the closings for face-to-face time and to make everybody understand that attorney's involved, and it makes them feel comfortable.
Right.
But I can interpret documents for them as well.
Sure. Okay, and you have how many locations?
We have two, one in Shalimar, Florida, and then we have one in Destin, located near the tax collector's office, across the street from the tax collector's office on Commons Drive.
So if somebody's going to pay their taxes, they can say, no, I don't want to do that. I'd rather go.
Absolutely.
Rather go to your place and buy some property.
Everybody would rather have property than go pay taxes.
There you go, yeah. I would too. Okay, you offer military discounts?
We do.
That's a great thing. I hadn't thought of that.
We do. Well, I mean, obviously RESPA and Department of Insurance closely regulate what we can do, but we are allowed to offer those types of discounts to our military service members who give so much. So to be able to give a little bit back in that regard is always nice. So normally we take $100 off the premium or something like that. It has to come off our side, obviously. But try to give back as much as we can to our military
still a
community.
really nice thing to do.
Right.
All right, you have a closer. Her name is Joan Jones. I like that.
Joan Jones.
And she has someone else that assists her?
She does. Wendy Turnpaw also assists, and she helps with the closings. But yes.
Okay.
Yes. Joan's a licensed title agent.
Gotcha. So she knows more than you. No, I didn't say that. Sorry.
As much as it would hurt to admit, many times the answer to that's yes.
Okay, so, and you also do something that I think is such a great idea, and I apologize in advance for stealing some of these ideas, but you have a bi-monthly educational seminar?
We do. We changed them up. We've just started those probably 2 to 3 months ago.
That's a
So
great
we're on
idea.
Thank you for our second or third time. And a lot of times, the way we started them was new realtors, particularly come in. They really don't know what. Sometimes they have questions about what we do on our side of
Sure.
the house. They've gone through the real estate course. They've gotten their license. They're dealing with their broker. And they know how to get a contract and a listing and go from there. But for instance, we did one that essentially was contract to close on our side of the house as opposed to their side. So they know what we go through, how we deal with lenders, how we deal with them, ordering termites and surveys and trying to get our file in order to get their closing processed effectively. And a lot of times we're just kind of somebody behind a curtain. They say, here's your contract, see you in a month.
Right.
Make sure it gets done. But for them to have an understanding so that they can be better educated and better service their clients.
Well, it helps everybody if they know what all you have to do. They can better tell their client.
Absolutely.
So it's not like, well, I thought this was going to be done in 15 minutes. And you're like, it takes a little bit longer than that. You have one coming up that has a really catchy name, CYA. What does that stand for?
That one is Cover Your Assets. And
Cover Your Assets.
what we're essentially doing at that one is we're going to take the contracts generally used by real estate agents and walk them through and tell them, many times we get contracts simply because they don't know, okay, this part doesn't apply. Obviously, as an attorney, we can give the legal advice. And from a legal perspective, if you leave it open, it's open to interpretation. And as you know, being
Sure.
an attorney, one thing you have to have when you get a contract is a meeting of the minds. And if it's unchecked, if it's unknown, then you can sit down. And the main thing they want to do, there's two things, obviously, for realtors. If you don't have an enforceable contract, you're not helping yourself or anybody else. You got to have that. So that's number one, is get there, and then obviously being able to get it to close.
Yeah.
So those are the issues that hopefully we'll be addressing there and walking them through and answering some of their questions.
Okay, so I know that you've opened this within the last, year or two?
Cotton Land Title's been open 3 years now.
3 years.
Almost. I did closings with them in my office prior to that, and so we've been going for years and years.
Have you found in the last couple of years, I'd say, that closings have started to tick up again?
Very much.
You know, a long time ago, they were just all the time. Everybody was flipping, buying property, and then that kind of bottomed out. But I've seen in my own practice that it's slowly starting to tick back up, which is great.
Absolutely. Well, that's better for everybody. I mean, we're very much an area that thrives upon the real estate sales, both from a local perspective and obviously from an investor perspective and a second home perspective for people in the Southeast. So
absolutely,
we're very lucky to be in this industry.
All right. I have asked you all the questions that I have written down. Did I leave anything out?
No, you've hit most of them on the button. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. We love the opportunity to be able to do business with people, both real estate agents, individual buyers and sellers, insurance. Obviously, referrals come from all over the place. So, we pride ourselves on being service oriented in this industry. That's really about the only thing that can set you apart.
You're right. Thank you, Byron. Come back, okay?
Yes, ma'am, we'll do. I appreciate it.
We'll be back.